Hi,
Hi,
I'm Rob.
and I'm Jen. We recently have sold a house as well as purchased a new home with Nuria as our agent on both ends, and we just wanted to take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about our experience and why we would recommend Nuria for your possible sell or purchase. A little bit of history. I'll start just because the history starts with me. I've known Nuria for about 11 years. And I worked with her in more of a professional setting, but through her children and through her family, working at the school where her children went to. And at that time, lots of discussions would occur of her being a real estate agent in the area. We had moved from a different city and had purchased a house. And within that house, we knew it wasn't going to be our forever home. So we had worked diligently on that house, ensuring that all of the steps we took would set us up for eventually selling. So one afternoon, she actually came over in the very early days of us owning that house just to come and take a look at the house and do a little bit of an assessment and help us know where we should be putting money into the house, areas to work on if we were to eventually sell.
It took her own time to do that.
It took her own time to do that. She just came out of her free will. And we did get some great information, and we did take that to heart, and we worked on that house as we went along for about 10 years.
Easily.
With those things in mind. And I remember at some point her children had grown up, and I received a card in the mail, and it was actually a birthday card, and I thought that was very special and a little bit of a personal touch. And she had just sent a really simple Starbucks happy birthday gift certificate.
You did that?
And I thought that was really special. And even in the card it said, happy birthday from your realtor. And that meant something to me. I remember that thinking, good for you. That's a great way to, remind us that you're not only there. She also would always mail us, were they monthly or
Little pamphlets
pamphlets from amazing homes.
Tidbits, knowledge.
Yeah.
Beaches, real estate.
Yeah, and we found that really, really helpful. So noticing there were lots of houses for sale in our area, Rob and I started discussing the idea of possibly moving out of the area, looking at purchasing a new home. And I texted Nuria one day, not even knowing if that was her same number. And she wrote back right away, let's have a phone call. And I think her and I talked on the phone for about an hour. And that's really where our process started. She came over to our house to discuss with both of us some ideas of, the idea of selling our house and also what we were looking for in a new home.
We weren't really even 100% sure whether we
weren't.
were going to do it or not. And so we definitely wanted a kind of a little bit of knowledge and expertise and wisdom, somebody who has the experience before we actually dove into it head first.
Yeah. And just based on some of the ideas she gave out, her first step was really, let's go shopping. Let's go out there and see what there is and what there is to offer. And that's really where we started. So at that point, we started to go shopping. We started to look around. And what we were noticing is we weren't really sure what type of a market we were going to be getting into, because we weren't really sure what we could sell for at that time. So that's when we made the decision to go ahead and sell the current home, so we had a better idea of what we were looking at in terms of buying.
Yeah, Nuria gave us a lot of knowledge and like, again, her expertise, and made some really solid suggestions, and that ended up being quite right.
Yeah.
And it was very advantageous to us, and so that's why we decided to proceed and
Sell
first.
Yeah, so we learned a lot. One of the biggest things we can say in terms of her area of expertise was really in learning about the market analysis, which was new to both of us. She was very knowledgeable in our area and had sold lots of homes in the Beaches area where we were selling. She knew the market well. She knew houses as they were coming out. She knew kind of where to direct us and have a really good analysis. I think every couple out there probably thinks their home is worth a lot more than you will actually get for it. And she was really good to kind of talk us, you need to understand this is the size of your house. You need to understand these things. This is what's comparable of what's selling in your area.
Well, and we also need to know that this is during COVID. This is during literally the peak of COVID. And so it's very difficult to be able to communicate, but she did a lot of Zoom calls. We have a schedule which is all over the place. I think at one point we talked till 10, 11 o'clock at night, just simply because our schedules didn't allow for us to speak during normal workday hours. And she took the time to literally talk to us for Zoom call. That was a good 2-hour conversation.
Yeah. One of the biggest points that we definitely would say in terms of Nuria's expertise is being readily available and communication, text messaging, sending information, getting back to us as soon as we had questions. We both agreed that was something either separately or together in a group chat that we set up right away, that we had information from the get-go, and that she was very knowledgeable. And then so we started to move within the selling of our house. Some of the things that jumped out to us as being very, very positive. I laughed so many times throughout the sale of our house, and I kept saying, I thought this was supposed to be stressful. I thought everybody was stressed about moving. I was having the greatest time. Also, there was people around during the midst of COVID, so that was exciting. From the stagers to the cleaners to the movers, all of the individuals who were hired were incredibly professional, very, very thorough, and we were overly pleased, again, through COVID, but also through their own professionalism. The sign at our house was visible.
It's cute too.
And it was cute color, and it was in a great area that was well seen. And one of the things we both really appreciated and enjoyed were Nuria's posts. So throughout social media, Instagram, Facebook, any area where she could, she was always posting, and her energy really came through in the post. She would be dancing in our hallway, this house is coming soon, or, listed today. And there was a really positive joy and energy there where you could 100% tell that she was doing what she enjoyed. And that really showed through all of her social media posts, which we, of course, would save and enjoyed. But we do believe that, again, in the midst of COVID, through social media, she was able to get our information, get our house out there for everybody. The brochures were professional. Also, Nuria would go over to our house. We weren't living at home during the showings. Yep. We had left because we had a dog, and Nuria would go over and shut the lights off at the end of the night, make sure everything was cleaned and set up for the next day, again on her own time, going to make sure that the sale of the house was going as best and professional as possible. So when we sold the house, the timing was great, the paperwork was great, everything was accessible online, very clear, and we sold our house in 5 days.
Yes.
I think maybe 5 days. Quickly. We sold our house in the time that we wanted to. Yeah. And to this day, everything went very, very smoothly. And again, it was just a really, really great experience working with her. Once we sold, we knew a number that we were able to go and purchase with, which worked out well for us because we did have a place to live in the interim.
And we decided it went so smoothly with her for the sale of our house, we decided to continue on with her for buying. And it wasn't even in the area in which we were living in previously. We were looking into the Durham region, and we said, well, it's a no-brainer. Decided to go with Nuria again to buy.
At this point now we're adding kilometers to the trips, and Rob and I were very diligent in terms of being online and seeing when houses would be post. So we would literally be, in the area, driving around, seeing if it was an area that we liked, and would call Nuria and say, we want to see this house, it's coming, it's listed, it just came on, we want to see it. And a few times we just waited in the driveway, and she would jump in the car and drive out and come and meet us. So in terms of her accessibility, she definitely would go out of her way and make sure that we could see the houses as soon as...
You're obnoxious.
We can be a little bit bossy and obnoxious. So that was really appreciated. And again, having so much fun. Here we are touring in other people's houses, and we haven't been in the inside of a house of our friends in over a year. And again, we get to see houses. COVID yes. Too, right? And we had fun, and there was music and laughter. And again, the most non-stressful situation. We felt within the trying to purchase, we ended up putting, we think, around 5 offers in on homes, and we ended up with the 5th offer that we put in the beautiful home that we're in now, and it was everything we possibly wanted. And again, the exact same experience we had with purchasing of this house. We loved it, we wanted it, she knew what to do and what to put in place for us to be able to get it. And we're now living in this beautiful dream
fully
home.
attentive during the negotiations, and especially in this market where the sellers are facing or being bombarded by offer after offer after offer. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be one of those real estate agents who are putting in those offers and trying to get the attention of the sellers, saying, hey, these are the people you want to buy off of. And she was on it. She was on it for sure.
Yeah, and she advocated for us. So even though this was, outside of her area in terms of location of, the majority of the homes where she's sold many of, she was able to get the information that we required when needed, and it was a wonderful experience. So all in all, we actually just really wanted to take the time and thank Nuria for everything that we enjoyed, for the reasons that we did work with you, and it was a wonderful experience, and we would highly recommend choosing Nuria for selling or buying.
We're not going to be doing that anytime soon, but we got her number if we ever do down the road.
Yeah, we're good where we are thanks to her, and I hope everybody else has the same experience.